Such an exciting character to take on as an actor, and then like to have diary entries with so much, full life in them, and just the dynamics between Lily as a child, like, or as a teenager, are so full. Yeah, they're full. So being able to pull from those and to take that and then to work on that as an actor, like that would have already been my process as an actor anyways, is like journaling, or like, trying to maybe like write out my character's thoughts. And when you already have that in paper, that like creates a whole other just like mountain of juice for you to use as an actor. It's the best. It's so exciting. So yeah, I mean, it was like a double whammy. A Colleen Hoover book, working with you.
Hi
or
friends,
working,
welcome back
as a
to my
counterpart.
channel. Justin Baldoni got hit with some bad news in court today, but Blake Lively didn't have a great day either, even outside the courtroom. So, yeah, kind of a rough one all around. They can't all be wins. Every single day, right? Let's dive into what happened. Justin Baldoni, Wayfair, and names like Steve Saros, Jamie Heath, Melissa, Nathan, and Jen Ale had asked the court for 30 more days. They said they needed extra time to finish discovery and to also get an extension to amend their complaint. Back in February, there was a scheduling meeting to set deadlines to help keep this case moving forward and on track for a March trial. Brian Friedman, who's been very vocal about wanting to get this to trial quickly, told the judge earlier this week that Lively, along with Leslie Sloan and Reynolds, were refusing to agree to any deadline extensions in an effort to be transparent and keep his promise to stay on schedule for a March 2026 trial start. Friedman still made a formal request for more time, but Judge Lyman wasn't having it. He denied the request for extra time to file a second amended complaint, and here's why. In his order, issued today, Judge Lyman stated that Wayfair's motion to extend the response deadline for interrogatories and to amend pleadings or add other parties was denied due to failure to show good cause. He referenced a case, furry puppet studio View Fall Out Boy, to make that point. He said Wayfair has known about the supposed issues in their current complaint for weeks now. Plus, the deadline to amend isn't even until April 18, 2025, so they're not out of time yet. Here's the key part. Federal court rules say that if you want more time, you've got to show good cause, and it's up to you to prove it. That means the delay needs to be the result of something like a reasonable mistake, excusable neglect, or some valid reason that would explain why you couldn't meet the deadlines. To meet that good cause requirement, the party asking for more time has to show they were diligent, that they worked hard and still couldn't reasonably meet the deadline. Basically, the judge is saying that trying to save time and reduce paperwork by waiting on rulings for motions to dismiss isn't enough. To get that extension rules, he's telling them if you already know there are problems, don't wait around for a decision. Fix it now while you still can. He's not going to give them an extra opportunity later, especially when they've had since February to do something about it. And he's right. They agreed to this discovery timeline, they've had all this time, and now they're asking for more just because there's a lot to do? That's not good cause. You can't ask for more time just because things got busy, especially when you were the one who signed off on it in the first place. The real issue for Wayfair is that they've been aware for a while now that their complaint had vulnerabilities. Back in February, Judge Lyman made a pretty clear statement about the strength of the New York Times motion to dismiss. He said it was likely to succeed because of the protections the press is given under New York's litigation privilege laws. And that's a big deal. It's incredibly tough to win a defamation case against a major outlet like the New York Times. It almost never happens. Even people like Donald Trump and Sarah Palin, who brought high-profile cases, weren't successful. Since 1964, when the Supreme Court set the standard for proving actual malice in cases involving public figures, it's been extremely difficult to beat the Times in court. That standard is so high, most lawsuits don't survive it. So, when the judge said in February that New York law gives the Times strong protection, Wayfair should have known then their case was on shaky ground. And not just the Times, Leslie Sloan's motion to dismiss also pointed out serious weaknesses. She highlighted how much of the complaint was based on information and belief, which is risky because those kinds of claims are easy to challenge. It's the same reason why the suit Blake Lively filed against Jed Wallace is probably going to get tossed. There's just no hard evidence. With Sloan, they're trying to tie her into a broader conspiracy, but they haven't made a strong connection. Honestly, none of the complaints against any of them, Sloan, Wallace, the Times, are super solid. I know people don't always want to hear that, but it's just the truth. Now here's the kicker. All of them, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, and the New York Times, have laid out in their motions exactly what they think is missing from Wayfair's complaint. They've essentially given them a roadmap to improve it, but none of them think Wayfair should get another chance to fix it. Judge Lyman had already signaled back in February that he might allow them to amend if they did it in a timely way. And that was their window. But they didn't. Take it. So now, the judge is making it very clear. He's not going to go through all these motions to dismiss just to let them fix things afterward. In federal court, these rulings can take months. But Judge Lyman wants to move fast. He doesn't want to spend time issuing these big rulings and then circle back to rework the complaint. He's basically saying, if you've known this long that there are problems, don't wait. Deal with it now or risk losing your shot. Now, instead of earlier, when they had the chance. And honestly, that's not going to be easy. Judge Lyman has made it pretty clear. This is your last window to clean things up, and you need to decide quickly, by next week. He doesn't want to wait around while they try to see how things play out. He wants them to commit. And while it might feel like tough love, it's actually a way to keep this moving, especially with a March 2026 trial date already on the books. Wayfair and Justin Baldoni were hoping the judge would weigh in on whether their current complaint would survive the motions to dismiss before deciding if they should amend. But Judge Lyman's saying, nope, not how this works. He's not going to guide them or give them a hint. They've got to take the risk and make the call themselves. And considering they all agreed back in February to keep this moving, quickly, this ruling isn't shocking. If anything, it's consistent. Judge Lyman didn't let Leslie Sloan delay discovery, so he's not going to let Wayfair do it either. They all knew the deadlines, and yes, the discovery requests are massive, but that's just part of litigation. People keep asking me what I think about how much Blake's legal team is asking for. And yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a ton of work. But if her goal is to pressure them into settling, this is a common strategy. Burden them with work, make it expensive, and drag it out. Defendants get tired. They hit a point where they'd rather write a check than keep answering discovery requests. I've been through it myself. Discovery is exhausting. The constant document pulls, the deadlines, the back and forth. It wears you down. So while they're saying right now they don't want to settle, the reality is the longer this goes, the more painful and expensive it gets. That pressure can change minds. And seriously, a trial set for March 2026? That's fast. I've got a case that's been going for 3 years with no trial date in sight. I just filed a summary judgment motion this January, almost 3 full years after the original complaint. So the fact that this judge is trying to get this to trial in 2 years is kind of impressive. And it's probably for the best. We all know the public won't have the patience to deal with this drama dragging out for 3+ years. So yeah, Justin got denied on this extension, but it's not the end of the world. If he wants another shot at amending the complaint, he's going to have to make a strong case to the judge. Blake, Ryan, and Leslie's teams are going to push back hard. They'll argue it's just another stall tactic, that they've had their chances, and this whole thing is just retaliation. And with Judge Lyman already pointing out that they've had plenty of time to make that decision, you can bet he's starting to lose a little patience. For Wayfair and Justin to move forward, they've got to come up with something new. Fresh evidence, new parties, something that justifies another amendment. If they can't do that, this could be a tough road ahead, out of her partnership with Wayfair. Now, according to this source, Isabella Ferrer felt it was best to stay out of the drama and quietly pulled back. But again, it's all coming from tabloids, so we have to take it with a grain of salt. Still, if it's true, it shows there may be some internal distancing happening, even if no one's saying it out loud yet. And let's be real, the timing doesn't look great for Blake. You've got her legal team struggling to hold the line. On the complaint, a judge who's basically saying, make up your mind or I'm moving on. And now rumors that people in her circle are quietly backing away? That's not a good sign, especially when they might need all the support they can. Get if this lawsuit drags on? Blake might be fully confident in doing this to stand up for her daughters, as People magazine says. But even if that's true, the legal strategy still needs to land. Confidence can't replace evidence in court. And if this case really is about setting a precedent and standing up for something bigger, then she's going to need more than just belief. She's going to need hard proof. And right now, from what we've seen, the other side is doing a solid job pointing out the gaps. So now, the big question is, will they amend the complaint before next week? Or will they roll the dice with what they've got and see what Judge Lyman decides? Either way, the clock is ticking and the pressure is on. Let me know what you think. Is Blake going to double down, or will they try to pivot and bring in something new to strengthen their case? Drop your thoughts in the comments, give this video a like if you found it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. She couldn't back up Blake's sexual harassment claims because she didn't witness anything herself. The source explained, "She was very young and new when she got the part, and to her, everything about the project felt like an amazing opportunity. She was all in on learning her character, staying focused, and not getting swept up in rumors or drama." If you watched closely, Isabella really committed to playing Lily. She read the book, studied it carefully, and tried to fully understand who Lily was deep down, which, by the way, Blake Lively is being criticized for not doing. Isabella understands that defending accusations she didn't see personally could backfire and potentially hurt her career long term. The source also said she felt blindsided, and deleting those pictures with Blake wasn't just random. There's now this vibe, similar to what Taylor Swift's team said, that Isabella feels used, maybe even pulled into something without realizing the bigger picture. Allegedly, she just wants out of it now. It's not hard to believe, since Blake mentioned in her first amended complaint that 2 actresses would testify, but she didn't name them. Given the limited number of people on set, and the fact that Isabella and Blake never actually filmed together, it narrows things down. Their scenes were done in totally different blocks of time, with Isabella finishing her part before the strike even started. Since they played the same character, they didn't cross paths much during production. Jenny Slate hasn't confirmed anything publicly either, so if no one is willing to speak up outside court, it's strange to bring them up in a complaint and suggest they will later. Now, if someone is telling the Daily Mail that Isabella doesn't want to be involved and that she didn't experience anything herself, it could work against Blake. If Blake is already being accused of manipulating or misleading others, like what Taylor Swift's team claimed, this doesn't help her image. If Isabella ends up being deposed and says, "Blake was the one who told me something happened," it could be seen as Blake pushing a narrative, especially since Blake's amended complaint included text messages that hinted at a smear campaign without solid proof at the time. That might make people question whether Blake was planting ideas rather than reporting facts. So there's now this air of uncertainty. While Baldoni's case might seem stronger right now, his side also has some pretty clear weaknesses. And when both sides have holes in their stories, the odds of this going all the way to trial, honestly, they're really low. About 95% of federal cases either settle or get dismissed. Only 5% ever go to trial. That's a tiny number. And when they do make it, it's usually after years of fighting. Just look at the Duggar daughters case in Arkansas. They sued over leaked records and spent 5 whole years in court, only for the case to be thrown out right before trial. So, if you're betting on this lawsuit actually hitting the courtroom, the chances are slim, even slimmer than you might think. The chances of this going to trial are honestly very slim. With the way Judge Lyman is handling things, denying requests from both sides, it really feels like he's nudging them toward mediation and hoping for a settlement. Just my take, but I don't think he wants to see this drag all the way to trial. I also think the public, at least some of them, would love to see justice play out, especially for Justin. But realistically, one party is going to cave eventually, and talks about settling will start. I can almost guarantee it. Who makes the first move? That's the question. But still, the odds are way more in favor of this ending with a dismissal or a settlement than it ever reaching a courtroom. That doesn't mean trial is off the table completely. It's just rare, especially in federal court, and this case doesn't seem likely to break that trend. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about the judge's most recent ruling? Do you think he's being fair or leaning one way? And what are your thoughts about Isabella reportedly pulling away from Blake? Do you buy it? Or do you think we'll see another article soon claiming the opposite, saying she's still fully in support? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Seriously, I love hearing your take on all this. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful or interesting. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button and tap the bell so you never miss a video update. Thanks so much for watching and sticking with me through all this. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.